What's up, guys? Dan
and Raphael.
We are on location. So we're actually at Stone Mountain State Park. It's about 20 minutes from the office, and today we just wanted to get out. I've been sick. Raph's been cooped up editing.
Yeah.
And we're also trying this new Insta360. So hopefully we don't get on your nerves too much with the technical stuff. But we got our little wireless pro set up. We're trying to run the audio internally to see how this goes. I don't really know if we needed this, but the other solution was to sync and post, which you graciously offered.
I did so offer.
so generous, and I hope to God we don't actually have to sync in post, because that's gonna really turn this simplistic style into something very complex, which is very, very normal for us. But beyond the fact, we are going to talk about something interesting today, and that is the path to become a videographer full-time. And the point of this video isn't really to give you this like straight shot, everything's gonna work out if you follow these steps. The point is to share a few ways that we've kind of figured out and seen through our peers how you can actually become a full-time videographer or a full-time video creator. And we're gonna hike up this mountain, about a mile up. So we're gonna hike up, stop a few times, and share some tips. I'm gonna start my Strava.
Oh yeah.
Follow me on Strava. I have like 40 followers.
Follow me on Strava. I have a Strava, but nobody follows me.
I follow you. I like
Only
your
Dan
I like
follows
your
me.
stuff. All right, so would we consider this a hike?
Yeah, I put it as a hike.
Hike.
Yeah. The first path that we want to get into is day playing as a freelancer.
Sorry.
What?
I just realized that we're like walking up a path talking about choosing your own path. Sorry, just go ahead.
Listen, I
It's
think
very, like my view right now.
It's layers.
No, I know. It's like I love it. Let's keep going. You're sorry.
It's layers. There's different paths. I mean, one of the most common ones is just starting off as a freelancer, trying to make that full time, going through different online services like Production Hub and others. And a very common one is Craigslist. That's where I started, getting a bunch of jobs. And then from there, it goes from word of mouth.
Yeah, no, I think Craigslist used to have more of a role in finding gig work. The TV film section, it was, well, a few things. So TV film used to not be paid. You could just go post on it and look at it, but now you have to pay.
Yeah.
So now you have to go to Crew, and then Crew is free. So most gigs are on Crew. And I went there too. What kind of gigs did you get on Craigslist?
So many, a few like just one-offs, like cover high school basketball.
Yeah.
Some birthday parties, and then a few like interviews and all that. But this is more if you don't have any connections with the place you're moving into.
Mm-hmm.
I came from Florida. In Atlanta, I didn't have any connections. So that's kind of what my roommates and I started doing.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did a lot of sports. So to kind of regroup here, day play freelance essentially means you're going to be working for someone for a day on a random gig. You're going to be offering a service. They're going to have a rate. You're going to perform the service, and then you're going to get paid. And it could be a one-day gig, it could be a 4-day gig, but day playing essentially, it's not long-term employment. And what you have to do when you do day play is you have to really understand the value of what you're doing. So if you take a $150 a day videography gig filming sports, you probably didn't go to film school to do that, but what you can do is you can meet people at that event that are doing things that you may want to do. You can get experience using cameras and gear that you may have not used before. And then you can also learn what you absolutely hate doing. because then you can channel your
Weddings.
inner. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, exactly. So it has a great place, and the rates are normally not great on Craigslist. I mean, I did a lot of $150, $250 gigs, which this was 10 years ago. So that's probably like $225 to $300 rates now. And these are long days, not including travel. Like the gig I did first at ESPN, Wildest Worldwide of Sports, they would put a box of Papa John's pizza on our forklift at 12, and that was lunch for me and this other guy filming.
That's so funny.
And then they would bring another box at like 4 with like dipping sticks and salad. So you basically just like worked all day and ate fucking flour. Point is, that is a way you can get gigs.
Yeah, again, to recap, it's just the way when you don't, especially when you don't have connections that big, the unique connections. That's how you start meeting people, doing the small gigs, and then from there, if they love working with you, if you have a good work ethic, they'll hire you for other stuff and recommend you to other people.
There's also other sites. So you're gonna have places that are more specific in regards to, like, there's sites like Production Hub, Staff Me Up, and those sites are gonna be very focused on industry specific gigs. Now, the pro of that is, yes, you're going to be applying for jobs that are somewhat in your area and your field, but there's going to be a lot more competition. And I can't really say I've had great success getting hired through Production Hub or Staff Me Up. I have used that service for crewing myself, but once again, it's just volume. And when it comes to volume and being able to stand out in a freelance world, if you don't have a connection with someone on the team, it's kind of a who submitted in the first 10 minutes kind of thing. So another step to think about with day playing freelance is you got to be very persistent. And I don't want to sound ridiculous, but I'm not going to sit here and say that when I was really looking for work as a day player out of school, I was checking my resources 3 times a day, just being honest. I don't think you have to do that, but it was like, get up, check the gig sites, have lunch, do things later in the day.
Persistent.
Huh?
You gotta be someone persistent.
Yeah, and like, I know it sounds crazy, dude, but like sometimes that midday checkpoint would be what would get me the $500 for the week that I wasn't gonna get, and it was because I was one of the first people to apply.
Yeah.
You have to be persistent and consistent. So day play freelance, it will unfold. It's really fun when you're young. It's really fun when you have a little more flexibility with your lifestyle, meaning younger, out of school, just kind of like all in on figuring out how to make this happen. It works.
Yeah.
It is exhausting.
Yeah. It's before you get, maybe before you get a partner, you get a dog, because some stuff will be like, they'll hit you up like last minute. I once got hit up New Year's Eve. Hey, can you edit this video for me? And I'm like, it was like 11 p.m. New Year's Eve too. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Maybe if they pay a little better, sure. But like, there'll be like gigs that are like that. So this kind of like stuff, you got to start out when you like have a lot more flexibility, as you said, to just like get the gigs real quick.
The next route you can take is seeking full-time employment. And honestly, that just seems like the answer, right? Full-time videography, check every 2 weeks or whatever, taxes taken out, insurance. Yeah, it sounds great. The thing is, it's not very easy to get. Those jobs exist. They're in a corporate structure. You're going to see more and more now, definitely than before. And really, the structure of full-time videography is you work for a company that needs enough in-house video services to where they're going to hire someone to give them those services 40 hours a week. Now, there's pros and cons to this route. So the first pro we'll get into is obviously you're going to have structured payments and security. But the con of that is the fact that you are going to be working there a lot of times in-house for 40 hours a week. And that is, you know, going to limit your availability. So if you're not available for one opportunity, you're not going to be able to offer your services as a freelancer to other opportunities that may appeal to you more. But on the flip side, during slow months, when your buddies who are freelancing are starving for cash, eating ramen, filming weddings, no, eating ramen, not filming weddings. You can make great money filming weddings. I just kid.
I think it's a personality base.
Yeah.
I just don't have the personality to like do weddings.
So like when that's happening, you're getting paid and they're not. So you have to really factor that in. I personally worked full-time as a videographer for 2 years. I started a video department for a company that had brand values that I was very passionate about. And the subject matter was something that I was very passionate about. And it was a double-edged sword. I love the opportunity. I love the freedom. I was the department manager, so I had a lot of responsibility. And I flourished in the sense that I wasn't micromanaged. However, I had a hard time personally going into an office every day from 8:30 to 5. That was really hard for me. It was really hard for me to always work those hours, especially as I was somewhat of a newer creative. It took a second, and I still to this day sometimes feel a little boxed in when I can only work a certain time. Sometimes editing for me doesn't just naturally come between the hours of 9 and 5. So that was the challenge. But I did like it, and it gave me, a lot of opportunity. What do you think? I mean, you work full time for a company.
Did I?
Wait. No, you actually, no, other than TV, I guess.
I mean, it sounds, the only story I have is that I used to, one of my freelance clients, they did offer me like, hey, if you want, it's a real estate company. He was great, but like, he was like, if you want, I can offer you any position in the real estate company. You would just have to come in office. And I'm like, you know what? I'll try it out for a day. I was there, I think like 9 to 4, had to wear business casual. And then at the end, I was like, I'm never going back there again.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I did that.
Right, but you weren't also passionate about real estate.
That's the thing, yeah.
So like,
it was, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, because sometimes we look at it as, I need money. This is sort of in the field that I do. They need my services, but in reality, if you're not compatible with the job in regards to the subject matter, let's say you go and work for a soccer team or a soccer organization and you hate soccer, why would you expect to like thrive in that environment?
Yeah. There's gotta be something like doing that work.
And people will argue and say, it's work. I agree with that to a point, but as creatives, we need that charge to allow us to keep going, to allow us to keep innovating. And if we just don't have that spark, then it's just not gonna last. I mean, think about when you started freelancing for DV, you weren't necessarily a fitness buff.
Yeah.
But you were really into YouTube videos. You had a lot of passion for YouTube. Yeah. And the subject matter wasn't, at least, I don't know, from my perspective, you didn't seem super bored by.
Yeah, at the time it was interesting. I think another aspect was we do have a little bit of leeway in terms of how creative we can go with the video.
Yeah.
And like make fun of like the video itself at times. And I think that definitely helps.
Yeah. So if you're gonna go this full-time route, just keep that in mind. And it is a route. Another thing I will say, going back to the competition though, it is highly competitive if you plan to apply to a job on LinkedIn that is for full-time videography. you will most likely see 100 applicants within the first 20 minutes. So keep that in mind, that if you're trying to go after full-time employment with the field, you're going to need to be very persistent. Are we almost there? Yeah, we're close.
We're close. Well, no. You'll know when we're almost there, but progress. All right. I mean, the next path that we're going to segue to is content creation. So being a content creator, which...
Full-time,
which, yes, it is an ambitious path, but I think if you're committed and have a niche, I think the main thing is having a niche that you can keep making content from. I think you can get far with it.
That's the thing. It's like, it is a realistic path, because I know people, we work with a lot of people that...
I have friends that have made it.
Yeah, you know.
And what they did was they found a niche and were able to grow from it. And like they have like over 100,000 subscribers and can like maybe had that be their main focus, and they still work freelance on the side from time to time. But it is an attainable path. It's just you got to commit a lot of hours, and it might not happen to like 90% of people. So it's like, are you gonna be, are you okay with making that risk? Because it's kind of a high risk, high reward kind of thing. You got to put a lot of hours and risk like your own money and invest in it to, in the long run, hopefully that investment comes back tenfold, and then you can make a career out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the biggest thing with content creation is understanding the reality of how long it takes. While even if you have a video take off, or you have some sort of something take off on social, you just got to realize like the monetary side of content is a little underwhelming. So million views on YouTube Shorts, million views on TikTok. Yeah, it's an amazing accomplishment to receive that. But from a monetary standpoint, you're not going to see financial gain until you start seeing that on everything you create.
Yeah.
And then you'll start being able to be like, okay, I'm getting a check from IG for 500, I'm getting a check from YouTube for 1,000, TikTok 1,500. Then it starts to like unfold. And then you also have to look at, when it comes to content creation, you have to look at like, outside of the actual content, how can I sell services or products that are going to make me more money? Merchandise is a big thing. So a lot of YouTubers are going to make clothing or accessories, and they're going to wear those in their videos to where, hey, they may have gotten 100,000 views on this video, but they got 500 orders on this t-shirt, and they're making like 95, 100% margin on the shirt. So that's a lot more than the monetary gain from the ads you're getting on your content.
And you got to also think about the business aspect, because it's fun making videos, it's fun making content, but are you good at time managing? Are you good at like keeping a consistent schedule? Because I mean, we're doing this as a second thing for us, so we post like once a month, or we try to.
Yeah.
And at times you got to be, at least when you're starting, you got to be more consistent than that. And that's the hard part that people don't think about. Yeah, just make videos. Well, you got to come up with ideas. You got to have a consistent stream of ideas and be able to execute those ideas in a timely manner. And that's how, when you're starting out, is when you start seeing some return. Is you got to be very consistent. So that's something to also keep in mind. That it's not just making videos, it's making high quality videos consistently for a long period of time. We're almost there. No, yeah, I'm fine. Don't ask me.
Go on without me. The last path that we're going to talk about is literally only doing what you want to do. And first off, let's look at this gradient we're about to walk up. Oh yeah. Let's go. Drive with the legs. Okay.
I'm the handle.
So if you're only doing what you want to do, essentially that means if you want to be a commercial director if you want to be a music video director, the only type of work you're doing is commercials and music videos. Now, how do you do that? Well, you ambitiously focus on getting work in that field, but, oh, goodness.
Hold on to that rail.
From a monetary standpoint, you're making a living probably in another field. And that field needs to be a little flexible. So it's probably going to be like serving, bartending. You could freelance, but once again, freelance isn't really predictable. So you need to have the availability to get jobs when you need them. So that is a way to really build your portfolio. And once you've reached a certain point, you should have a body of work that can allow you to kind of consistently get the type of work you want. But the sacrifice there is that you're not always doing production or creative work to make a living, you know?
Yeah, how can you talk?
So just to recap, we're basically about here. As you can see, we're getting close. So we're gonna hike up here and close this sucker out. Yes. What was our time?
About a mile.
33 minutes with talking.
We're talking. All right, bottom line is you have to choose your own path, and you always have to make time to make your own content. Maybe try a few different paths and see which one works best for you.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you like this new style of video. If you do, please like and leave a comment.
Meet me just one last time.